Hey everybody, this is Stevie J from Glove Up or Shut Up, and without further ado, our next clip is an interview with Gerald Hurricane Harris from the World Series of Fighting, who will be facing George Santiago on August 10th on WSOF.com and SureDog.com before the main fights air on NBC Sports. Enjoy the interview.
Like he is done with this.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Hey,
oh,
hello.
Hi,
Stevie, I think we got a guest on the line.
yes, I believe we're joined right now by World Series of Fighting welterweight Gerald Harris. Gerald, how's your evening going?
Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I was running a youth wrestling practice and it just ran a little late, and I had an alarm set and everything. Man, I hate to be late. I apologize.
Oh, it's all good. We're just happy to have you here, and we had your opponent George Santiago on last week, so that's going to be our first question. I'm Stevie J, by the way. My co-host is Peter H, and let's get your thoughts right at the start on your upcoming fight with George.
You know, it's kind of crazy. I never thought I'd fight George. Or I thought it was Jorge. I think it's Jorge. I'm not sure. But we actually trained together down in Florida. He's a really nice guy, very respectful. You know, it's not going to be a fight where I talk bad about the guy or, you know, I'm not going to talk about I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. You know, we're both just doing our own thing, and we just going to have to meet in the cage. You know what I'm saying? It's unfortunate because Rashad Evans is a really good friend of mine. I've been knowing Rashad for over 10 years. Quiet, baby. And, you know, that he's a teammate of Rashad's. So they're training together for the fight, and it just feels weird, man, you know?
Yeah, that's one of the things we talked to him about, actually, was the Blackzilian camp and how when he got started in fighting, there were no Blackzilians, and basically they grew up around him and became one of the top teams, no pun intended. So it definitely is an interesting position when you're friends with guys that you got to fight. It's one of those things that just happens in this sport.
Yeah, well, me and Mahart, we're not friends. I mean, I'm not saying it to be mean. We're cool. You know, I met him. We worked out together. You know, my real friend is you know, most of the people that surround him. Kenny Monday, I've been knowing him since I was 8 years old. You know, he's one of my heroes, and he's down there coaching, and it's just kind of awkward. It's going to be kind of bittersweet to see everybody and say what's up, but at the same time, we're all going against each other. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the day, we're all looking out for ourselves, looking out for our families, and that's what it is. It's business to me. It's not personal. You know, I'm going to go in there and do my thing.
Yeah, well, speaking of families, it sounds like you might have your family with you, unless that's the kids from the youth training.
Yeah, this is my baby girl. She's 2. She'll be 3 on Monday. Say hi, Chloe. Say hi. Oh, no, you
Hi.
Say hi. You don't want to say that now.
That's cool, but happy birthday to her. It's good that you're be able to support your family and provide for them through mixed martial arts, and you're not a rookie at this. You've been doing it for a long time. So, what first got you interested, going way back?
You know, I was teaching in Florida, and the story is I came to Oklahoma and my certification wasn't accepted. So I got in. I had to do substitute teaching, which does not pay well at the time. It was almost minimum wage. So I fought just for extra money, and I kept winning, and I kept getting more money. So the only thing that made me go full time was I lost to God, what's his name? He's in the IFL. I lost to I can't think of his name, but I lost to that guy, and I was
I think it was Fabio.
No. That fight, I was just, man, that fight was fun. I didn't lose that fight. I never accept that loss.
Well, that was the IFL fight I remember you in, but sorry, go on.
Yeah, the other guy whooped my ass, and I was like, okay, that guy trains full time. And after that fight, I retired from teaching, and I went full time MMA. So that's the story, man. I got on the Ultimate Fighter a few months later. People don't know that when I got on the Ultimate Fighter, I hadn't even been fighting a whole year. Like, I mean, I had not been fighting long at all. You know, my last fight was about, you know, months before that, and I was done. I was like, I don't want to fight anymore. And then I got out there with Team Quest, and, hey, quiet. I got out there with Team Quest, and, you know, pretty much that's when the full-time thing started. And months after being with Team Quest, I was on Ultimate Fighter. It was crazy.
Yeah, things went really fast, and you won your way onto that show, too. You defeated Mike Modalo to get into the house and be on the show. But, you know, no shame in your game because you came into it very young and not having fought very much, and you lost to the who went on to win the whole season. So nobody can really say anything bad about that.
Yeah, you know, just that's my luck of the draw, man. That's my life story. So it's pretty crazy. Hey, I'm about to be dad again and order McDonald's, but it's for the kids. It's not for me. So
cool.
if y'all, I'm so sorry, man. I was gonna be ready at 8:00, but I'm in my daddy mode right now, and I'm heading to train. So I'm just doing like a quadruple shift right now.
That's fine. Actually, that'll be a first for Glow Up or Shut Up. We've never had somebody order at the drive-thru on the air, so by all means.
I just don't want to be rude. So I got a 2-year-old in here, and I got a 7-year-old in here. Say hi, baby. Say hi. Say something.
Hello.
Yeah. All right, that's good enough. All right, here goes the order. Real quick, I'm so used to this. Let me get 2 Happy Meals, 4-piece nuggets, both of them, the apple juice for the drink in the box. That's how good I am. Barbecue sauce for the nuggets. That's all. Thank you. See, that wasn't bad, huh?
No, not at all. Hey, Peter, I believe you had a question about the Ultimate Fighter, so I'm going to let you jump in here real quick.
Yeah, we've had a bunch of Ultimate Fighter contestants or fighters on the show before. So, is there any stories like we didn't see on camera? Like, is there something that you took away from the house that many fans wouldn't know?
Oh man, this is crazy. This is something I've never told this in all these years. The house was pretty boring. It's never been to jail, but it's like, from what I'm hearing, it's like jail of the sense of not having anything to do. But I'm a stand-up comic. I've been a stand-up comic since I was 16. I wear many hats. And Dana White found out that I was a stand-up comic, and at the end of every show, Dana White takes everybody out to this huge, expensive dinner. Like, the dinner was so expensive, I was scared to order. Like, I mean, the menus, you know it costs a lot when it just has, like, 22 and 33 on it. Like, there's no value number, there's no, like, 28.50. Like, these numbers were huge. Like, they were $40 meals. So, in the middle of the meal, he goes, "Hey, you." And I was like, "What's up?" He's like, "I heard you do comedy." He made me do a 10-minute stand-up set in front of all these rich people and all the people from the house.
Wow.
Oh, it sucked. I mean, I did okay, but it was just like on the spot. It was like an audition, man. It was just, they were laughing. You know, he's like, you stick to fighting us. He laughed a little bit, but that was pretty embarrassing, man, to make me do that right on the spot.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. But how often do you do the stand-up? Do you do it between fights, or do you do it on a regular basis? How often do you get a chance to?
You know what? I hold this huge show in Tulsa, Oklahoma, the third Sunday every month. And this past Sunday, we had 500 people there. So,
nice.
I mean, it's the biggest show in Oklahoma right now. And it's just local comics. And sometimes guys come from out of town. But what we do is we do a lot of improv comedy. You know what I mean? Skits and plays and crazy stuff to keep the crowd into it. So, I mean, it was fun. Actually, on my birthday in November, Rampage Jackson was a special guest at my comedy show. And
nice.
We had a roast, and they roasted me and they roasted Rampage. And, dude, it was hilarious, man.
Rampage is a hilarious dude. I've gotten to interview him a couple of times, and he's a trip, man. I wish he'd do stand-up comedy.
Hey, I tried. He's hilarious, but he does not like jokes to be told about him. So he's kind of like, he can give it, but he can't take it. So, yeah, that's the funny thing about him. Like, when you crack a joke on him, he like grunts a little bit, like, Rrr. So it kind of kills the buzz on the joke.
Yeah. He takes it better giving than receiving. I think you're right about that. But speaking of giving and receiving, I've always been curious about this. It blew my mind when it happened, and I'm sure it blew your mind as well. You won 3 fights in the UFC and lost 1 and got released off the 1 loss. I didn't understand that. Maybe you do.
No, nobody. I'll never. You know what? I usually hate that question, but it's so old now that I'm used to answering it. I will never in my life understand it, and this is why. And I'm not going to say any names. There's guys in the UFC that have went 0-5. There's guys in the UFC that have went 1-4, 1-5. And what happened to me? I never deserved it. I was a father. I was just recently married. I mean, a lot of things I didn't share in my personal life when I was in the UFC. Half my UFC career, my partner was on bed rest. She was on bed rest with our 3rd child, and I was dealing with that along with training. I would have to fly people in to care for her when I went to fight. You know, so when I fought Salter, and I fought Miranda, and I fought David Branch, that whole time my ex-wife was on bed rest. Like, literally couldn't get out the bed. Our baby was in her belly, the one sitting right next to me. And it hurt me so much because I always hear about guys failing drug tests and going to rehab, and they lose a fight, but then they find out their dad died or something. Nobody asked me what was wrong in that fight. I'll never say what happened, you know, but because there's no excuses. I will never, ever understand why, because you don't use humans for examples. You know what I mean?
Right.
You just don't do that. I'm not a guinea pig. I'm not I'm not what they call a sacrificial lamb. You don't do that with people's lives. And I rebounded from it, and it's one of the reasons why I got back into comedy. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna do something else, and I got back into comedy. I started booking my own shows, and I started doing doing really good. So, so cliche to say blessing in disguise, but it was. And life is good. I can't complain. But I will say this, and I don't like to talk about them too much because I fight for the World Series now. For any organization, there should be contracts where you should not lose your job on any day. That is like a temp agency. That is a job that has no value. Any job that you work so hard to get, it should be almost just as hard to lose the job. You understand what I'm saying?
Oh, absolutely. I couldn't agree with you more.
And that's my gripe. That's my gripe with any organization. I'm not singling out anybody, That's just my gripe with everybody is we're so and Dan Hardy hit it right on the head. We can be replaced so easy that's why it's like that. And it's frustrating. And this is my solution. Is if you give me a 3-fight deal, let me get 3 fights. If I get my ass kicked 3 times, I know I'm not going to get re-signed. But you can't have it do or die every fight. The risk is greater than the reward. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Yeah. It's a shame when things like that happen in fighting. And, I got to say it as both somebody that follows the sport and somebody that's a fan of the sport. It's disheartening to me when guys, put their all in and get treated like that. It makes me wish.
Yeah. I mean, they say stay in shape. They say, you take last-second fights. You do everything to keep the people happy. I never failed a drug test. I never missed an interview. I did everything they said. I knocked every single guy out that I fought, except for one that I had no idea who the hell he was with no video. Who fights for newcomers, But beyond that, I'm with World Series now. I'm not exaggerating. I love being World Series. My contract actually is going to end after this fight, and I look forward to re-signing with them. I'm 33 years old. I'll be 34 in November. I'm going to retire with World Series MMA. They pay me great. I'm not scared of losing my job. I want to go out there. I want to fight. I've never wanted to fight this bad. I feel great. Like I'm not worried about anything. I'm not worried about the money. All I'm worried about is going out there and performing well for Ali and Mr. Lampman and all the guys at World Series. I want to impress them. That's all I want to do and earn my title shot. I'm not worried about anything else, and that's how it should be. That's how you should feel. And my contract is structured so great that I'm not worried about anything. A pay cut, nothing. They just want me to, they said, go out there and fight. That's all they said.
Mm-hmm. You're in a great position right now, too, not just with the fact that they're paying you well, but with the fact that World Series of Fighting is an emerging league and it's on NBC Sports and, they're primed to put it out there as like their flagship show, like it's their UFC on Fox Sports 1. World Series of Fighting is what represents them.
Yeah, and they pay good. So, that's pretty much, that's the main thing, man. And honestly, you don't get to fight a lot because they're up and coming. And I understand. They only have a couple cards a year, and when you lose, you get pushed to the back of the line. I can't blame anybody for my layoff except myself. I sat back and I waited. I said, hey, I'm ready to fight whenever y'all can have me. He said, I'll try to get you in, and I understand that. I lost. Bergman is the man right now, so I let Bergman do his thing. I sat back, watched, and I just waited my turn. Now they called me. Now it's my turn. So.
And I wouldn't say you've gone too far down the card because you're in the main event of the prelims against George or Jorge, whichever way it's said. So, it's that spot where you're. Sorry, go ahead.
I wish it was televised. I will gripe a little bit about that. I'm a little sad that it's not televised because it's one of the more popular fights on the card.
Mm-hmm. Well, so I view it this way, though. It's going to be a great fight, and if one of the fights on the main card ends short, that's the first fight they're going to bonus.
Yeah, if anything happens, but I do. But Sapo's on the card, and other guys are on there. I can understand, Tyrone is a man, he's big, especially overseas. He's going to draw the international crowd. I just wish they had more room on the card. I'm not going to replace anybody. I don't disagree with anybody that's on the main card. Mm-hmm. I'm just saying that I wish there was more room for our fight. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Well, you're going to end up in a highlight reel either way because whether you're on the televised card, you're probably going to do something so outstanding in that fight that they're still going to show clips of it no matter what.
Yeah, everybody keeps saying, man, you need to go back to slamming people. I was like, I was slamming, like, new guys. These guys are, like, ranked in the world. Like, you don't just grab somebody and body slam them real easy. So I do miss the body slam days, but it's not that easy, man, to just grab somebody and throw them down.
Yeah, honestly, the only two people I've ever seen slam somebody into unconsciousness are you and Rampage. So it's like something you have in common.
Yeah,
well,
so that's the thing, man.
Yeah, Peter, I don't want to dominate the conversation. I want to let you get back in here. So, straight from Ottawa, what do you got for
I got to train in a few minutes. I got my trainer sitting there waiting on me, but I'll answer some more questions. But I got to get on. I got to get some work in a minute.
All right. We'll get a couple more, and Peter, go ahead before we have to let Gerald go.
What's it like fighting at welterweight, and what are you walking around at these days?
The heaviest I got, people don't know I injured my MCL in my last bout, and I was unable to train for a couple months. I got up to about 212, and that's fat. That's just eating and sleeping and, other stuff I do at night. I can't say on the radio. But it's basically just not doing anything. And I'm in really good shape now. I walk around about in the 90s. And when I fought 85, I mean, I can make weight in my sleep. I didn't cut weight for the day of the fight. But naturally, I just eat good. I train hard. It sucks to go to 70. I've been weighing 170 pounds since high school. So, I mean, it sucks. But you know what? That's where I need to be. Those 185 pounders are ridiculously big, and if you see all the successful 85 pounders, beat it at 205. I couldn't fight at 205 with 25 pound weight in my pocket. So, You're welcome.
Now you fought a lot of fights in the States, but you only have one fight outside of America, and that has to be in Japan. What was it like fighting for Dream?
Oh man, that was the weirdest decision I ever had in my life. I mean, he landed one punch the whole fight in the top of my head. And he got one takedown, but it was just but as far as Japan in general, I definitely had a good time. It is not like the Caribbean. It's not like Mexico. He landed one punch. It is Japan. Like, it's Japan. It is like no tourism over there. So it was actually cool, because when you travel, sometimes there's a bunch of Americans or something like that. But this place was truly, like, strictly, it was like TV. I mean, it was really like what you see in a movie. They're really strong with their culture, so I loved it. You're welcome.
Is there anywhere you want to fight that you haven't fought, like maybe Canada or Mexico or Brazil?
No, as long as I get paid, man, I will fight at Walmart. I'm not kidding. I don't even care. I'm not here
There's
to
a
fight.
quote.
And by the time I get there, I'm cutting weight. I don't even see anything, I just want to fight. Like, really, man. Come to my backyard, pay me good, and it's on. Like, for real.
What was it like fighting for...
travel.
Oh, go ahead.
I'm blessed to travel, but it's not nothing I look forward to. I just want to get there and do my job and go home, man.
I think you're the first fighter we've had on that has fought for this promotion, so I have to ask, what was it like fighting for Shark Fights?
Oh, my God. Shark Fights was great. A lot of people don't know the story about my brother passing away. And my brother passed away that year. I won that Shark Fight title on his birthday. So get 4 apples if you got them. And that was a crazy story. I still had that Shark Fight belt. They went under, financial reasons. But they were great. You know what? And this is no exaggeration. Other than the World Series of Fighting, the best organization I've ever fought for in my life was Legacy. Shut up! That's the daddy right there.
Yeah, that's cool. But yeah, you won your last 2 fights in Legacy before World Series of Fighting, so obviously you go ahead.
He treated the best ever. Like, they were so cool, man. It was hard to get released, not like legally. It was just frustrating for him, but as overall, they were really cool. And World Series is a step up above that, so I can't complain, man. I'm happy where I'm at, seriously.
All right. Well, we know you got to go in just a minute because you got training to do for the upcoming fight. But before we let you go, we just want to give you the chance to one more time plug that World Series Fighting. I call it the main event of the prelims, and I still think it's going to get bonused on TV. But you can call it whatever you want and plug how people can see that fight.
Hey, tune in August 10th to MMA World Series, the king of the undercard. Gerald Hurricane Harris versus Jorge Santiago. So it's going down. Our fight's actually going to be on WSOF on the website. So, go to the website. You can watch the fight. Tweet. If you want to see it on TV, tweet it. Whatever you want to do it. Email it, Facebook it. But as long as I hit the fight, I'm cool. Televised or not. What matters is getting in that cage and doing my thing.
Yep, you're going to do your thing on August 10th. We have no doubt about that. And I believe it's going to be streaming on Sherdog.com as well, so people can also watch it there.
Yeah.
Do you have a Twitter?
What's that?
Do you have a Twitter handle?
Yeah, it's and the letter G and Hurricane. So G and then Hurricane.
All right. Well, everybody follow
I
Hurricane
got
Harris.
11,000 followers. 11,000 followers.
Yep. And you got one of me, too. So if you see Angry Marks, that's us. So I'm sure Peter will be following you after tonight.
11,002.
Yeah, 11,002. And after this, Peter will follow you, too. So that's 11,003. But, Gerald, thank you so much for the time, and we can't wait to see your fight on the 10th.
Sorry I was late, man. All this noise in the back. Say bye, baby. Say bye. She waited.
Oh, yes. And happy birthday to your daughter as well. Coming up next week. Happy birthday.
Should be 3 on Monday. Say bye, Boogie. That's my youngest little girl. Say bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, Gerald.
All right.
It's great talking to you.
All right.
Have a good night.
Oh, you too. Thanks.
All right.
Thanks,
Thank
bye.
you very much. All right, Peter. Gerald Hurricane
Wow.
Harris right here on Glove Up or Shut Up.
Amazing interview, Stevie. I never heard someone order McDonald's. I feel like we're doing the Jim Cornette thing all over again.
Yeah, that's the first of the show. I told him literally we are making history here, and I think that's awesome that he already knew the entire order for his kids before he even got to the window. That was fantastic.